Siddharth Gupta. I am the Chief Revenue Officer of Mettl. Frankly, quite underqualified to speak to the most august gathering of HR leaders in India. But though I've sold for about 20 years, I've sold everything from Hewlett-Packard hardware in late 90s to SAP ERP software till about a year back. And these 20 years, I've done one more thing, which was really bad to HR folks. I actually pushed them away. I told them, keep away from my people decisions. Because I thought I was blessed with some kind of a sales gut. I looked at a person and I said, I know instinctively whether this guy has it in him to sell or not. I might have had a great run with sales, but I know I have taken some audacious and horrible personal decisions on people and I have suffered them over multiple years. So when I joined Mettl, a talent measurement expert company, my first task to the research team was to move me from an instinct-based guy to an insight-based leader. So I gave them my best sales guys. I told them, why don't you get me the competencies which are present in my best sales guys in a box so that I can replicate them across my sales organization.
यहाँ से रास्ता है पीछे जाने का backstage.
So we took that as a task within the company. But then when we partnered with SHRM about 8 months back, we thought we'll take it to the entire industry. So we actually jointly approached about 1,600 sales leaders across 8 industries. And we did a survey and some startling facts came out. About 57%, so majority of sales leaders believed that talent was important for performance. But then when we asked them, what do you mean by talent? And less than half of them knew what talent really means to them in their context. 60% of them actually admitted that they have no scientific assessments or basis for sales hires. But when we empirically looked at the data and we took performance data from them and correlated against the sales hiring process, we saw that sales teams formed from a competency-based process actually performed at the least 1.3 times better than a normal team. So when we went deeper into this particular research, some patterns started emerging. And at a later date, we gave it a name, 3-factor model. But let me tell you the 3 factors first. The first factor was the complexity of your offering. Second one was the complexity of the sales process. And the third one was buyer sophistication. So 3 into 3 into 3, 27 distinct subsegments emerged. And let me give you an example. A CEO decided that he wants to go digital. It's the buzzword today. So he went and announced it in the board that I want my organization to go digital. But nobody actually had a blueprint for going digital for a company in its context. So they actually reached out to consultants or vendors who work with companies, but the problem definition didn't exist. So they actually started a consultative approach with 4 or 5 different vendors so that a problem could be defined. And then from there on, they actually worked towards an RFP process. So the offering was complex on the first factor. The process of getting a vendor on board was equally complex because multiple evaluation steps take place. And the buyer sophistication was at its peak because the CEO with his entire sales leadership, process leadership, key process owners were part of the decision making. On the other end of the spectrum, you could think of a retail sales, maybe a Bata salesperson. He has his user who's the buyer. He walks into a Bata store. If he's looking for a Oxford cut shoe, there are about 4 variants. So the product is fairly standardized. The process of sale is over the counter. And the buyer sophistication is the user is buying it, it's fairly commoditized. But is it so black and white? Actually, it's not. Every organization today has a differentiated offering across these 27 subsegments. So these subsegments need more thought. Let me tell you an example of Mettl. So Mettl actually caters to about 90 odd countries. Say, for example, a teacher in Ohio wants to quiz his students on Java programming skills. So he logs into Mettl.com. My international sales rep latches onto him, and he points him towards some pre-built assessments which are already available on Mettl. He tests them, and he finds them good. He buys a pack of 100, and a sale is closed on a click of a button. But on the other side of the spectrum, there is a key account sales director in my sales team who would be working with a very large IT setup, with the L&D head, and trying to match a technical competency framework with assessments for every job role, for every proficiency level. So within Mettl, there are various subsegments where our offerings lie. So we've painstakingly worked on every one of these 27 subsegments. We've not only done that, we've actually homed down to 5 critical competencies which are spread across these 27 subsegments. With every competency, we've broken it down into sub-competencies and then traits, and mapped them to an assessment which is ready for your consumption today. So hand to heart, I won't claim here that we are 100% ready to support you in your sales journey, but we are about 75% to 85% there. Please do call on us, catch hold of, my sincere request to the HR leads us that catch hold of guys who are my equivalent in your organization and drill some sense into them. That days of gut-based sales decisions are over, and we need to look at guts plus, and Mettl is there to partner with them for that. Thank you.